Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Sales Circle podcast. The sales-based podcast that's helped, or should help, I should say, you to improve and increase your sales, whether you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, sales professional, sales manager, a sales director, whatever it is. I'm your host, Rob Spence. I'm an internationally renowned sales trainer, sales author, sales coach, the managing director of a multi-award-winning sales and marketing agency. And I invite you to join us in the Sales Circle. This is your place for you to improve your sales. And I just want to thank you for joining us. These episodes take a lot of effort. They take a lot of work. And it really means a lot that there's so many of you now out there listening to this podcast. So wherever in the world you are, I thank you. All I ask is make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, make sure you're following us on socials and help us spread the word. We want to improve the quality of sales professionals up and down the country and all around the globe. We want to improve sales skills. We want to make sure that customers are sold to effectively. And we want you to make sure you're hitting your commission target every single month. In today's episode, we're going to look at having a fantastic winning sales mentality. Sorry, I'd forgotten the notes there. How to develop a winning sales mentality. For me, salespeople, the best salespeople in the world have the best sales mentality. They have a winning mentality. They have that competitive mindset. They want to sell. They want to win. They want to do well, not just for themselves, but for their prospects as well. And it's so important why having that winning sales mentality is important for any salesperson. So perhaps you're listening to this on the way into work, maybe you're on the way to a prospect's office, maybe you're doing some housework, whatever it is. I want to make sure that there's some key hints, tips, advice within this podcast to help you develop that winning sales mentality, to help you to increase your sales. So does a winning mentality, does mindset really matter in sales? Or is it just a case of pot luck? Or is it a case of the product's so good it will sell itself? Well, Let's look at this in a bit more detail because there is so much to dive into in this. As of all of these podcasts, although they're quite sales trainee based, please don't consider them to be formal sales training. If you do want sales training or if you want to conduct some online sales training courses, I'll drop some links in the show notes below or head on over to the Paragon Sales Solutions website, hit the online course button and you'll find some sales training courses and resources that are very cost effective. So I've pulled off some statistics here because I think statistics are really critical when it comes to how salespeople handle rejection, setbacks, and of course success. So a survey conducted by Peak Sales Recruiting found that 84% of top performing salespeople attribute their success to their mindset and attitude rather than their skills alone. Let's look at that again. 84%. So nearly all, really, of top-performing salespeople attribute their success to their mindset and attitude rather than their skills alone, which goes to show that having that winning mentality, having that right mindset is actually far superior and far better than just having good closing skills or good prospecting skills or having a fantastic little black book full of contacts. It's all up here. It's all about mentality. It's all about wanting to win, wanting to get that sale as opposed to those skills that sort of sit within sales. There was another study as well done by HubSpot. We all know HubSpot, a fantastic CRM system. So HubSpot shows that 60% of salespeople say that using a positive mindset improves their motivation and ability to hit targets. Once again, let's repeat that a second. 60% of salespeople say that using a positive mindset improves their motivation and ability to hit targets. Now, I bet you can look around your sales office. If you're on the way in, when you get there, look around. Look at those that are positive and look at those that are negative, which we'll come on to in a second. Those positive people within your sales office, how well do they achieve? Do they do well in sales or do they struggle? I will bet you right now that those with a positive mindset within your office, within your team, are those that go out there and get more sales. So what about the negative people? Look, we all know that a negative mindset, that kind of negative self-talk, that kind of negative way of approaching life in general, it can lead to self-doubt, burnout, and a lower sales performance. Like three things that you don't want when it comes to selling. You never want to self-doubt yourself. You never want to burn out. And of course, you don't want a low sales performance, do you? So another statistic says that sales burnout can affect up to 67% of sales professionals at some point in their careers. I have no doubt that if you're listening to this podcast, or perhaps you're watching it over on our YouTube channel, that you have a positive attitude. Because if you didn't have a positive attitude, you wouldn't be listening to this anyway. But if you do, perhaps you sometimes put yourself down. Perhaps you always see the grey side of life instead of the bright side of life. Try this. Try and reframe some parts of your mindset. Don't see challenges. See solutions. Sometimes it can be really hard to do that. I get that. Sometimes it can be really tough to reframe and to manifest great positive things. But if you do it, you'll have a more thorough, positive mindset. And I have every confidence that if you have that positive mindset in sales, that encourages that winning mindset. Positive attracts positive, and you'll get better things come your way, and so on and so forth. To kind of personify that a little bit more, think of it this way. We can all wake up in the morning and go, oh, my diary is back to back. I've got to drive here, I've got to drive there, I've got to jump on this Zoom call, and then I've got a meeting, and I've got a telephone call. Oh, what a horrible day. We can all think negatively like that. Or could we be like, oh, my diary is full today. There are so many opportunities for me to get out there and sell and to talk and to develop relationships. I've got so many more chances to sell my product, my service, my business, whatever it is. I've never visited that town. I've never visited that city. I've not traveled that way in a while. How exciting. And do you know what? During the time I'm traveling, I get to listen to the Sales Circle podcast. We can all look on the negative side of life. But if we flip that around and try and focus on the positives rather than the negatives, that's where that winning sales mentality truly comes from. So alongside a positive mindset, what can we do as salespeople? What can we sort of encourage within our minds to really stand ourselves out from our competition and those within our team? One of the key things is resilience. Let's not beat around the bush. A lot of rejection comes with sales, right? It's not every phone call we're going to make is going to turn into a call, into a sale. Not every proposal we send out is going to turn into a sale. Not every time we visit a customer that they're going to be absolutely happy as Larry and ready to rebuy, ready to go back into a contract. We get rejection. We get setbacks. As we discussed in last week's episode, which was a fantastic episode, by the way, all about ghosting. We get people avoiding us and ghosting us. But we've got to embrace that rejection as part of the sales mindset towards the next steps. There's an old sales adage, isn't there? That every no is just another step closer to a yes. And we've got to believe in that. Don't get me wrong, we shouldn't really be going out there trying to attract so many no's just to get a yes. But we've got to realise that we're going to have to kiss some frogs to get our winning deal. Got another statistic here about resilience. This one's taken from LinkedIn. And we kind of spoke about this in last week's episode as well. 80% of sales require 5 follow-up calls after the initial contact, but 44% of salespeople give up after just 1. And it kind of really proves, once again, and I know we're kind of covering ground on last week's episode, but it shows that persistence and resilience are just crucial for really generating better sales, closing more deals, and really growing our business or brand. We've also got to have what I call a growth mindset. We can't enter any work life, whether you are a salesperson or not, being fixed in your mindset and sort of thinking, look, this is me. I know everything. I can't learn a single extra thing. I've experienced it personally where I step into sales teams and I've got to go in there and train these sales teams. Now, some of these sales teams are well experienced. Sometimes I've had to train people that are nearly double my age and been working in sales more than 2 or 3 times, my career. But those salespeople have got what's called a growth mindset. They want to learn. They want to enhance their skills. They want to hone their skills. They want to learn new things. They want to take their sales skills and knowledge into the modern century. And we've got to have that growth mindset. I'm a big believer, and I say this a lot on the podcast. The best salespeople in the world are those that want to learn. We can all fall into sales. We can all get a sales job and earn some good money, get some good commission, go on some piss-ups with the lads, and X, Y, Z. But it's the best salespeople in the world are the ones that read, that study. They attend webinars, seminars. They listen, they hone, they grab mentors, everything else in between. For me, that's what a growth mindset is all about. Research from Mindset Works, another statistic here for you, say that individuals with a growth mindset experience 50% higher engagement in their roles compared to those with a fixed mindset. So perhaps a little takeaway from that is this. If you have just kind of fallen into sales, never read a sales book, just sat there and not done anything, not listened to any podcast, not listened to any training, do it. Start to really increase your your growth mindset. Try and learn new skills, try and hone those skills. And of course, all of this comes down to self-confidence. Don't ever be afraid to be confident in who you are, what you do, how you talk, how you dress, who you are as a person. Having self-confidence in sales is vitally crucial. One of the things we talk about with sales is this kind of these principles of persuasion or influence, okay? One of those principles is authority. Authority comes with confidence. If we are sort of going in there confident, we know our product and our service and our business inside and out, we know ourselves inside and out, we're ready for any objection, then we're confident. We sound more authoritative. People are more willing to listen to us. They're more willing to be influenced by us. But if we are umming, erring, not too sure, I need to check, I don't know about that, I don't know, let me try and wash over what you've just said by giving you some other feature or benefit that you've not asked about, you lose credibility, you lose trust. Two of the critical things for sales. And that self-confidence then gives you a lack of resilience and a lack of ability to want to push on. So how can you develop that winning sales mindset? Just a quick heads up, our first book to accompany this podcast, The Sales Circle, is being written and shall be published very, very, very soon. It's a great chance for you to enhance your sales skills while supporting the podcast even further. To be added to the VIP list, please email thesalescircleofficial@gmail.com. So look, there's a number of things that you can do to really encourage that sales winning mindset. And once again, I don't want to turn this into a full-on sales training. If you do want some sales training, head on over to the Paragon Sales Solutions website and check out the online courses we've got available there. But for me, some of the key things we can do are set daily goals, set those daily targets. Yes, you'll have your monthly, quarterly, yearly target, but set daily goals, set weekly goals. What can you achieve on that day? What's going to make you feel like I've achieved something by the time you get home? Embrace that routine of continuous learning. Of course, we could recommend listening to podcasts. Podcasts are a great way to hone your learning, as are sales training courses, online sales training courses. Pick up a book. If you just pick up a book and even just read it for 15 to 20 minutes per day, you are taking those small steps towards that growth mindset and learning new things. When I set up about my career, it was all about reading. I think I set out the target. I think it was 15 pages back to back, so kind of 30 pages of books per day, 2 bookmarks, and I'd read. I'd do a bit in the morning, maybe a bit midday, but definitely last thing at night. And my knowledge just absolutely exploded. Don't forget to use positive visualization techniques. Before you're driving, whilst you're driving to that meeting, visualize yourself getting that sale. Visualize yourself getting that promotion. Visualize success. We could talk for hours about the secret, manifestation, and everything else in between. And some people would say, look, it's a load of nonsense. It's a load of, bananas. Some would say, I absolutely swear by it and I love it entirely. Top athletes use visualization. They visualize things happening. And lo and behold, that's where success comes from. For you rugby union fans out there, when a kicker is looking at the ball, Johnny Wilkinson was famed. He used to say, I used to look at the ball and I used to look at the posts. I used to look at the ball, I used to look up at the post. And as I was doing this, I would visualize the ball leaving my boot, leaving the tee, flying over those posts and scoring me the conversion or the penalty. And that's what I want you to do as a salesperson. Visualize success. Practice that gratitude and sort of counteract that negativity. If you've got 10 proposals to send out today, horrendous. I'm going to be in the office all day editing this proposal. A prospect's come back because the proposal wasn't right. Reframe that. Be excited for those challenges. Find the solution to the problem and just develop that inner circle of positivity. I believe that positive people attract other positive people and positive occasions. They encourage and attract positive results. If you're a negative person, I think the term a lot of people use is a mood hoover. If you just ingest negative energy, guess what's going to happen? You are going to ingest negative energy. You are going to attract negative energy. That's all you're ever going to get, and your life is going to be miserable. It's going to be boring, lack of success. But if you practice that positivity, your positive attitude will help you to get that sales winning mindset. So as always, within the podcast, we like to share some listeners' stories or questions. These are questions that have been sent in, some anonymously, some named. And I have a quick look through and I'm trying to just kind of come up with a solution on the spot. If you are listening to this and maybe you've got a burning question, maybe it's a question from the podcast itself, maybe you've been struggling with something within your sales career, I want to know so I can help you. You can send them in to any of our social media platforms. All you've got to do is just search for the Sales Circle podcast on literally any social media platform and you'll find us, or send me an email, thesalescircleofficial@gmail.com. So the first question is anonymous. It says, how do you stay positive when you're going through a dry spell in sales? Tough one, absolute tough one. We've all been through that dry spell, haven't we? We've all kind of suffered with that lack of sale, loads of ghosting, loads of rejection, and it's tough. For me, it comes down to two of the key things that we talked about there. Remaining positive, trying not to let your head drop and trying not to allow that negative energy to kind of encompass you, but focus on the positives. What good things have you done? What good things have you done historically, previously? That's where those kind of like daily goals really come into play, because we can look back and go, do you know what? I have been able to do this. I have been able to achieve a sale. I have been able to close sales. And I think we were just speaking about rugby union there a second ago. Whilst we're talking about sports, be like the Premier League striker. Okay, every striker in their career will go through a dry spell, right? They'll go through that period where they don't score a goal for 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes 10 games or whatever. A Premier League striker doesn't stop trying. They don't stop scoring. Sometimes they will. Sometimes they'll not dare. Maybe they'll look for that extra pass instead of trying to finish. Maybe they'll feign an injury. Maybe they won't run as hard as they could to try and get into that one-on-one situation, whatever it is. But if you want to be the best, just keep trying. The second you stop trying is when really that's when your negative side and your sales will truly drop off. Next one sent in here by Peter. So thanks, Peter. What's the best way to handle rejection without letting it affect your motivation? Let's reframe motivation. Let's not reframe motivation. Let's reframe the word rejection. Are you truly being rejected, or have you got a learning experience? The next time you're rejected, ask your prospect this. Really appreciate the update. Thank you so much for letting me know. Just for future, is there anything I could have done better? Is there anything I could have done differently to have had the chance to work with you? We're going to leave that question out there. The prospects then got two choices. They tell you, or we'll start with the easier one. They stay quiet, they ghost you, they don't talk to you, whatever it is. Or they tell you, and they're open, they're honest. They give you that feedback. Those with that growth mindset will then say, actually, the prospect's right. I didn't do this well enough. I didn't follow up effectively. I didn't follow up in a timely manner. Perhaps I didn't sort of understand the prospect's brief. Next time I'll make sure I do it. That could then, in theory, re-engage the prospect, couldn't it? You could then say, hey, look, I understand now's not the right time, but should I maybe sort of give you a call in 6 months, see how you're getting on, and I'd love to start again with you. Or you take on to the next one. Keep that growth mindset pushing. This one is from Katie. How can I stay motivated when my team isn't performing well? This one could open up into a number of things. I guess this could come from two ways. And Katie, I do maybe write in again. I apologize if I don't answer this correctly. I'm going to look at this from a sales manager point of view, because I assume that's what the question is. It's really tough to kind of lead and stay positive and stay motivated whilst your team perhaps is slipping. But for you as the leader, you're the person that people are going to be looking to. You're the person people are going to be sort of seeking support and advice from. So what can you do to maybe gamify the situation a little bit? What incentives can you add? Can you lead by example? Can you pick up the phone? Can you jump on a call? Can you go out and prospect? Can you maybe listen to some of the calls? Can you give some nice positive reinforcement? Don't look for the negatives in that situation. It's very easy for sales managers to go, oh, you should have said this. I would have said that. I wouldn't have done that. Rah. Look for the positives. I love the way you've phrased that. That's a fantastic way that you've done that. What can you do as a leader to try and really invigorate and really pick up those that are working around you? With each of those questions, I'll be honest, I could speak for hours about them. If you do want to work with me one-on-one, obviously, once again, reach out and we can have a chat. But I'm hoping there's some nice snippets of bits there that you can take away and learn from. And as I said at the start of that little section, perhaps you've got a question, perhaps you've got a problem, perhaps you're struggling on whatever it is and you need some help. If you do, find us on social media or email in thesalescircleofficial@gmail.com. So this is the part of the podcast where I recommend a book to read. As I said earlier on this podcast, I'm a big believer in reading. I'm a big believer that salespeople should continue to study, they should continue to learn, and they should continue to ingest information whilst having that growth mindset. Now, selfishly, today's book is actually written by me, moi, over here. This was my second book that I authored, The Paragon Mindset. I wrote this book when I was setting up the business. I put a lot of pressure on myself back in 2018 when I set the business up. The reason I recommend this is because, look, there are a number of books I could recommend that kind of focus on mindset and sales mindset. But selfishly, obviously, I wanted to talk about mine. Now, this book was authored with the intention of reminding people that salespeople should be the best of the best. They should lead by example. They should have that growth mindset, that positive energy, everything we've discussed in there. So this book was very kept for today's episode. I'll read you the blurb. Attitude, belief, and mindset are all attributes that separate the average salesperson from the elite. Having a strong sales team is what separates a surviving enterprise from a thriving business. No matter your current approach to sales, the Paragon Mindset is the book that will help you to not only sell more, but will also help you to achieve more. Filled with solid advice, techniques, and sales-boosting skill sets, the Paragon Mindset is the book guaranteed to help you to increase your sales. Now, the book, like I say, written in 2018, it's available to buy on Amazon, and I'll probably drop a link below in the comments for you to kind of go direct. I'll read some little snippets from you, and I'm allowed to because I'm the author. This book is for those who want to be more than just average, for those that want to succeed, for those that want to surpass expectation. Most importantly, this book is for you, the reader. May you continue to learn, thrive, and strive for more. There's various bits within here, everything from the Paragon Mindset, having that thorough sort of sales mindset, how to sell the Paragon way, and I'll explain that in a second, and what you should do next. The reason I called it the Paragon Mindset and the reason my business is called Paragon is because with the diamond, let me rephrase that. The Paragon is the most beautiful, the most precious, the most rarest diamond that there is. A perfect diamond with 100 carats or more. But it's also a personal thing regarded as a perfect example of a particular quality. So your chef is a paragon. Your mechanic is a paragon. They're the best of the best. That's the reason for the diamond, and that's the reason for the business name, and that's the reason for the mindset. You've got to believe that you want to be the best of the best. You don't have to be the best of the best, but you've got to want to be the best of the best. And that's what this book is all about. It's not a very long book. It's about 180 pages, give or take. Nice, easy to read. And I think it's very, very important that you get it out there, buy a copy of this book and give it a read. I have no doubt that if you start to add reading into your day-to-day basis, especially, any sales book-based books, your sales will increase. As I said, that's available to buy on Amazon along with some of my other books. And I'll drop a comment in the show notes below for you to pick up your own copy. And that just about takes us to the end of this week's episode of the Sales Circle podcast. If you got this far, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure being able to speak with you. Of course, I'd love you to stay tuned. I'd love for you to kind of stay part of the conversation. Please do, whether you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, hit that follow button. If you are watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and make sure you follow us on social media and join the Facebook group. If you want to increase your sales and improve your sales skills, there is a Facebook group where I share daily hints, tips, motivation, and everything else in between, to make sure you go do that. This week's episode has all been about the sales mindset, having that sales winning mentality. Remember, the more positive you are, the more of a growth mindset you can have, and the more open you are, the better human being you'll become, and therefore a better salesperson you'll become. We can all go through life negative, with our shutters on, being null and void and emotionless towards everything that goes on around us. We can be negative. We can be that mood hoover. But what a boring, sad life that will be. Your prospects will find you boring. Your colleagues will find you boring. Your wife, your husband will find you boring. Everyone around you will find you an absolute bore, and no one wants to talk to you. And if there's one thing that salespeople must do, is to talk to other people. So I'm hoping that this week you can go away, take some notes from today's episode, and have that winning mentality for the week ahead. Please do keep in touch, and until next Thursday, all the best. And that's it for another episode of the Sales Circle. Make sure you hit that follow button, join us over on social media, and we'll see you next week.